A big hello to you. It is so great to see you and I hope I find you well. I'm Jennifer Kirk, welcoming you back here for another video. And you might remember that we took a look at not one but two of TRS trains' smoke conversions, both of these being steam locomotives, and both were very impressive. But at the time, I remember opining that actually a diesel locomotive smoke unit would really be a great development if it were possible. Well, TRS Trains has been working on this and they've given me the opportunity to take a good long close look at the first of what hopefully will be a new range for them. And this is a working smoke unit that uses water as the base fuel. It doesn't actually heat it, but uses a kind of ultrasonic generator to atomize it. So it's quite a cool smoke. You can actually put your hand over the exhaust, it doesn't burn and feels cold to the touch. And it does mean as well that there's not going to be any oily buildup and no weird smells and fumes building up in your railway room. What's not to like? So today, let's take a good close look at the TRS train smoke unit in Hellion Class 25. Today's video comes in association with Train-O-Matic, makers of DCC decoders and accessories that are designed by enthusiasts for enthusiasts, and we've got a link in the description box to take you to tramfabrique.nl where the full range is ready for you to buy today. Additional support also comes from TMC, the Model Centre. Check them out at the URL link in the description down below for a fully stocked and comprehensive website. They're also home to the unique custom weathering service for that bespoke finish that cannot be rivaled. But I'm really excited to show you the TRS Trains diesel smoke unit in action. We've reviewed models from TRS trains before, and on every occasion I've been really impressed with the smoke generator unit that TRS trains uses. The previous two locomotives have both been steam based, but for the first time we've got the opportunity to take a good close look at a diesel version. Now, just like the steam generator, it uses water as the base fluid, and actually the exhaust from the locomotive when it's running is completely cold. The other benefit as well from this method of operation is that there's no weird fumes, so even if you're in a fully enclosed model room, you're not going to be overwhelmed by a horrible oily smell, and it also means that there's no residue. Running on deionized water, it just means that there's no sediment in what's left of the water after it's evaporated away to slowly clog up the mechanism, and that is very important. Now, the instructions for the model state that all you need is a small pipette full of water and maybe even put a couple of drops of dishwasher rinse agent. And I've had a rummage around and managed to find a bottle of this, and it doesn't need much. And what this actually does is it actually stops the water from foaming up, and if it does foam, it will block the exhaust port and the smoke effect will stop. Now, the model itself that's been supplied is one of the Hellion Class 25s. If you remember when we reviewed these on the channel, they do have a lot of internal space, which makes them an ideal candidate for adding sound, stay-alives, and in this instance, TRS adding in the smoke generator unit. It does mean that unlike the steam locomotives, there doesn't appear to have been a lot of modification necessary, and that should improve dramatically the reliability of the locomotive. Not saying that the previous models showed any issues with reliability, but certainly the less modification that's required, the better it's going to be in the long term for peace of mind. Just like the steam locomotives, we take that water and through the exhaust port here drilled into the locomotive roof, we'll just add in that water to the internal reservoir. Don't overfill it. And what we also want next is just some of that rinse aid. And I had a rummage about underneath my kitchen sink, and this is actually really old. It came with the house and we've lived here for 12 years. But certainly there's enough in this bottle for many years of reliable operation. So all I'm going to do is just draw up a small amount of the rinse aid. And like I said, you don't need a lot. It's just 3 little drops is all that is required. And certainly if you get the exhaust port to look a little bit like it's over full, if you get a bubble in place, just blow down the port and it will clear whatever blockage may be there. Now that we've got the model all loaded up, it's just simply a case of firing up the sound installation, and the smoke generator works on F10 of the keypad. So we can do a cold startup, and for that we just hit F1 and the locomotive runs through a cold startup routine. If you then hit F10, at the moment that the turbine whine stops and you can hear the engine start to turn over and cough, then you'll start to get the smoke ejected from the exhaust port. The second time that you run through the startup sequence, as long as the locomotive hasn't been removed from the track or cut off from the power, it will do a warm startup, which is different and quicker. If you want to go straight in with a warm startup routine, just hit F9 before you hit F1, and that just makes sure that it goes straight to that warm startup routine. Again, once the turbine whine is finished and you can hear the prime mover turning over and starting to cough, just hit F10 and the smoke generator will occur. There's nothing else to do on this, and quite simply it's timed to whatever the sound is doing. So as the engine revs up, you'll get a bigger blast of exhaust. As it revs down, you're going to see that exhaust start to abate. And on the startup, one of the things that I really like is you get that little cough from the prime mover, and that seems to be timed to a little burst of extra smoke coming out of the exhaust ports. If at any point you want to stop the smoke generation, you just hit F10 again to turn it off and the exhaust plume will stop. There's also an automatic cutout which will stop it after a length of time, but it is important to make sure that it doesn't run dry. When putting the model back into storage as well, ensure that the water tank is as empty as you can get it, and this will just make sure that you don't get any leaks. As you've seen, it really is an effective exhaust plume, and I'm really grateful to TRS Trains for giving me the opportunity to show you this all-new system in a diesel locomotive environment. Was that the best smoke unit that you've ever seen in a 00 gauge diesel locomotive? I'd certainly love to hear from you in the comments section down below and hear your opinions on today's model from TRS Trains. What did you think about it? And is this something that you might be considering, having seen this, for your model layout? We've got a link in the description box down below to take you to TRS Trains' website, and certainly if you do buy from them, do tell them that you saw it here first. Don't forget as well that you can also order the Monday Club exclusive Palbrick wagon, and this is currently available to order with confidence from Rails of Sheffield. This is exclusive to the Jenny Monday Club, using a highly detailed KR Models Palbrick as its base, and it's strictly limited edition. They are selling fast, so if you do want one of these unique models that is sure to become a collectible classic, get in now and make sure that you reserve yours today. You can also head on over to Patreon and help support the channel to make the videos that you want to see. With a number of different tiers of rewards for your support, it's certainly a great way to help this channel keep making the video content that you love. Also, don't forget to tickle that like button because it just loves being tickled. And share the video too. Sharing to social media is caring and a great way to help support the channel too. And if you haven't already done so, do please consider subscribing and ringing that notification bell. But until next time, this is me, Jenny Kirk, saying you take great care of yourself, have a great time modelling, and share your modelling results in the Jenny Monday Club Facebook page. Until then, you take great care of yourself. Bye for now. Today's video is sponsored by Trainomatic, makers of DCC decoders designed to be fully compatible with every manufacturer's locomotive. Visit train-o-matic.com to browse the full range and see what they've got suitable for you. Additional support for today's video comes to you in association with TMC, the Model Centre. Check them out at the URL link in the description down below for a fully stocked and comprehensive website that covers products from a whole host of different manufacturers. They're also home to the unique custom weathering service for that bespoke finish that cannot be rivalled, and indeed also that custom graffiti that gives your wagons that personal touch. You can also visit them in their North Yorkshire showroom for a fully stocked and friendly visit. I'd like to send out a huge thanks to everybody who supports me on Patreon, and an extra special huge thanks goes out to Anthony Kidson, Offshore Allen, Michael Lockie, Helen Sink, Gary Lewis, David Quinn, Sparky107107, George Botterini, Chris Moss, Robert Steers, Sam Yates, Dale Williams, John N. from NC, NYMRish, Jonathan Foster, Peter, Clifford Ison, Larry W. Grant, NI Railways 4000 class, Ian Coulson, Alan Dickerson, Eddie Popper, Karen Nichol, Medwin Williams, Crossways Point Junction, 3B Rail, and Jennifer Garrett. Thank you. Without you guys, I couldn't do this.